Welcome to We're All Just Faking It. This is episode 29. Today we are talking about how to manage your money. With us today we have Dana, Steph, Blaze, and myself, Braylon. So I want to start this off by asking you guys, what does managing your money mean to you?
Covering necessities, but still having room to enjoy life. I don't get to take any of this money with me. I'm damn sure going to spend it while I can.
Same. I want to cover all of my necessities while also having a little bit of money to spend on fun things.
I think being able to save at the beginning of the month for me really helps to know that I'm managing my money because I've got like a fail safe if anything goes wrong in the month. I've got like something to fall back on, which is nice. Yeah,
Do
definitely
you
like.
have a budget, Dana, that you know you need to come under, or do you just free ball it and hope that your savings covers anything extra?
So I always save £300 in my savings plus whatever's left over at the end of the month, like because I get paid at the end of the month. So whatever was left over that goes into my savings as well. I have to pay 200 into my Help to Buy ISA, which is to buy a house eventually, hopefully, I hope. Um, and then I pay 1 week a month of shopping. I pay my granny housekeeping and um what else do I do? Just and then I just have like normal bills and things. I don't normally end up like I don't normally ever end up being more than what I have paying for. Like I normally pay for things if I've got it in my bank account rather than going into my savings. But like if I've got an MOT and it's a lot of money, then I'll go into my savings, or if I've got to pay my car insurance and things like that.
Do you have it written down somewhere, or do you just know based off of time, in your head, what your
Um,
expenses are? Or do you track it?
it doesn't really change very often, so I just kind of I have my banking app though, so I'm always looking at my bank app to see how much money I have, and if it goes below an amount that I'm not happy with, then I'll put some money from my savings in to like just bulk it up, and then at the end of the month put it back into my savings because I don't normally go into it.
That's similar to what we do. We don't have anything written out. Every now and then, we'll write out all our expenses just to get a good idea. But usually we've just been doing it for so long now that we know how much we can spend, and we always put our mortgage money away at the very beginning of the month so that come
Yeah.
the end of the month for next month, we've got that at least. But yeah, I don't specifically track. I'm like you, Dana. I'm opening the bank app just to see where we're at, usually a few times a week, and make sure that we're not. But yeah, I don't have to keep a detailed spreadsheet. I don't spend a lot, so
It
It's
is
really good
interesting
to
actually.
review. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the app that I have is it shows you how much you spent on different things like the month
oh,
before,
that's
so it'll say
nice.
like shopping you spent this month much, but last month you spent this much on shopping and things like that, and stuff. So that's always nice to know, like, oh, I spent less than I did last month, or oh shit, okay, I spent a bit more this month.
That is handy. So it tracks it for you.
Yeah.
I love when they have those charts in the banking app. I'm the kind of person I used to work in banking. I would never connect my bank account to any of those money monitoring things, not Calendar Budget, not Mint.com. Don't connect your bank account to those things. It's not a good idea. But it is good to review your bank account as much as you can, especially in a digital age. Scams happen all the time. There's fraudulent charges can happen randomly. I freaking went through a Taco Bell and was distracted and didn't get my card back. And the cashier went on
Oh
a little shopping spree.
no. Oh my
And it was the weekend.
gosh.
And I had no recourse that weekend. No bank I could get a hold of at the time. I'm not going to share what bank I was at because slander. But yeah, they did not have a weekend fraud department. So she just got to go shopping over the weekend and I just got to
That
watch my
is
bank account deplete.
horrendous.
I got all the money back, but it was a really stressful weekend.
Yeah,
Oh
that would stress me
my
out
gosh.
so much.
I think there's a thing now that I don't know if it's just UK or not, but I think if you go into your banking app, you can freeze your card so that if that happens, that you don't have to have all that stress of watching like your money just. I get
Yeah,
notifications every time money comes in or leaves my account. Like
same.
even if it's like
Oh,
the
that's
weird like
handy.
£1 thing that PayPal does sometimes to check that you're connected or something, it still tells me like everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I
Everything.
had
I
to do
get
that back.
notifications for everything.
I had to
It's
do
not
that
great.
back in December, where I had to like freeze my card because there were some fraudulent charges on it. And like my bank will send like a text to me if they see like a bunch of charges that are like different than usual, and that's what happened. I saw it and then I looked at my bank account and I I about flipped it for
Oh
a
no.
second.
Oh
It
my
was like
gosh.
$500 worth of charges.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It it's such a violating experience.
Mhm.
I
Like,
can
if you're gonna take my
imagine.
identity, that's one thing, but get the fuck out of my bank account.
That's terrifying. I need to knock on wood right now. This has never happened to me.
Have you guys used outside apps to kind of manage your income? My favorite over the years has been calendarbudget.com. They charge now. They used to not charge, but I absolutely like love having I can drop my income in it whenever I get paid and then I can schedule out my bills and then it tells me just how much I can float until like a few months down the road when my bank account starts to go negative, so I know exactly how much I need to have in my main account to like float everything through. It's been a godsend, no matter what the income is. And another amazing tip, lie to your budget. Your budget doesn't need to know that you make X amount of money every 2 weeks. Lower that amount a little bit and then throw all that excess into savings on top of whatever else you're already saving. Like
I do the
living well within
opposite,
your means.
but something similar is I overestimate on all the cost of my bills. Which I
Yeah,
feel like if
that's
you
a good
did
one
both of
too.
that, like if you were to underestimate your income by a little bit and overestimate your bills a little bit, then you know you would have even some cushion every month. And I just use Notion because our expenses are really not that complex. Like same stuff every month, pretty easy. So in Notion, if you have a table, it can calculate and do the math for you, like Excel, which is really nice. And then you can make different views, so you can like look at all of your utilities only or like all of your credit card payments only or categorize it however you need to.
You know what I'm gonna
Awesome.
ask, don't you?
No, I
Do you have a
don't.
template?
Oh, I literally for that one, I'm just using like I have one page and all it has on it is a table view and that's it. And so I'm
Hmm.
like, maybe I need to add more to this to make it some type of template. But it's really so simple. Like my needs are so simple for budgeting and finance that like I don't need any more than just a single table that shows income and expenses.
We
I did
split
that
the responsibility. Like Rona's responsible for maintaining all the household bills, and then I'm responsible for maintaining all of the excess extracurricular stuff. So, like, if we have five, TV streaming services, that's my fault.
Yeah.
I will go fix that.
Or a new fish tank?
I'm not getting another fish tank. I don't even want to clean the one that I have. I thoroughly cleaned this one and then I posted back in Discord. I'm like, yeah, there's no fucking way I'm getting another goddamn fish tank. There's no way I'm spending even more time on fish. Pretty though. Do you guys treat savings like a bill? Or is it kind of like savings is after everything else that you want to spend?
We
okay,
haven't
so
go ahead.
I just want to share.
Go ahead.
Because I never mentioned how I handle my expenses month to month. But basically, right now, since I am providing for both Reagan and I at this point, my ultimate goal is to break even. So I kind of know about how much I spend each month on expenses, and 99% of my bills come out at the beginning of the month. So for the first like week or two, I don't really spend any extra money. I just kind of know not to. And then I for my savings, this does tie into the savings piece. I keep an amount each month that I know that I would like it to stay at, And sometimes I'll transfer money from my savings to my checking, but normally if I do that, when I get paid the next time, I'll put the money back into my savings. So I'm not really saving any extra money right now, but I am maintaining it.
That's smart. That sounds like a good plan. Currently, going back to Steph's question, we are not doing like a lot of savings, but back when we did, we were able to save a lot. Just would take the money at the end of the month and like put it into savings because we're not super big consumers, so we always would have a big surplus once we had paid all bills at the end of the month, and I would just like boop, put that over. But I
It's
didn't make it
like
a priority to do it like at the beginning, you know?
I go back and forth. Like having worked my small stint there in my very early 20s or actually I don't think I was 21 yet because I couldn't be an actual banker and you have to sign off on like paperwork. If I have to be 21 to be a banker because you have to sign off on loans. Um, I don't like carrying a balance in my checking account. Plus, I've just had so much identity theft over the years, that it just if my debit card gets lost or stolen or whatever the case is, I don't want there to be a significant amount of money, and I've turned off like all the overdraft junk. So if I see a balance in our bank account, like I'll text my husband and be like, "Hey, I'm moving this into savings unless you have something planned for it." And he's like, "No, all the bills came out," or "Yes, something's coming out and that's why it needs to be in there." And then I don't know, and then I just set new milestones in, like, my savings account, like, I like nice round numbers, so if we do have to pull out of savings, I only pull out until it's a nice round number, and then, like, that's it. If you only get $67 out of it, you're only getting 67 bucks out of it.
That's just hysterical. I'm sorry. That's so funny.
Wait, that's me as well because I leave my savings at like a nice like number.
Nice round number.
Yeah.
No change in that account. Change is for spending.
I make sure, so as soon as my money comes in, I immediately put money in my savings, and then because for my Help to Buy ISA, you can only put in a certain amount every month. I schedule it so that on the first, so the next day, to like the money goes into it because I just don't want to have to then open it again the next day, and I just like to know it's going to happen. So savings is immediately done. My ISA is immediately done. My money to my granny is immediately done as well, so that all of that is done. And then also whatever was left over the month before also goes into savings. And then also sometimes if it is like a weird number, I might like add in like an extra £9 to make it like a zero at the end, depending on how I'm feeling.
Oh my gosh. You guys literally all do that? I do not do that. If you look at our accounts, they're all like super weird random numbers, like no rhyme or reason. I'm like, if I need 50 bucks, there's 50 bucks.
I just
My,
like
my paycheck auto splits. So the second my
Oh, that's
paycheck leaves my
nice.
company, like part of it goes into savings, part of it goes into the
That's
main
so
checking, and
nice.
then anything left outside of that is my
Is
money.
fun money.
When
I
I was an
highly recommend
intern,
that.
I did that.
If
Oh,
if
it's
you're
a
able to,
Yeah.
godsend.
that's literally the best. You just
Mhm.
in like the website that we use, you can like add like 5 or 6 accounts on there if you want. You could literally have it go to so many places.
I wanna talk to you about that. So, like, there's one method of spending that had always worked, like, back in my early days, and that was it's like envelope spending where you have, like, a bills envelope and, like, a fun envelope or an et
I've
cetera,
heard
but
of
I did it
that.
with
Yeah.
bank accounts. So, when I used to work
Oh
for the
my
bank,
gosh.
I would have a separate bank account and different debit cards depending on what I was spending on. So, I had a food account, I
That's
had a
smart.
car and, like, a mortgage account, I had one that was strictly for going out to eat and not, like, food that we got inside the house. And then at the end of
Wow,
the
that's
month, I would
wild.
just pull all the different bank statements and then kind of like balance it out. It was a lot
Yeah.
more work, but everything was super clean.
I feel like nowadays you probably can do that with the use of like apps and stuff like that. Like there's probably different ways, better ways to
I just
manage
don't
it.
trust them. I don't trust the
mm,
apps. I like if after the
You're
Mint,
so funny.
the debacle and like the identity theft with it, I just there's no way I'd ever connect my bank account to anything like that ever again.
I know with my bank account, like in the actual bank app, I can set a budget for each like type of purchase. So like housing or I don't know, I forget the categories that they have, but it makes it that way.
All the random
But
ones.
what you were saying about the envelope thing, when I was a kid, my parents would give me like a very like small allowance. I think, yeah, no, it was only for like good grades or something like that. But either way, I had this little like package thing or whatever that had a whole bunch of different envelopes for spending. It was exactly what you're talking about.
It's a
Those
good
make
method
me
of
so
spending.
nervous.
It is.
Why?
I don't want to have that much money in my house. Like I would like it in my bank
Yeah, I
account.
don't like it either. It scares
Stresses me
me.
out. The
Oh yeah,
TikToks where
well,
they're like, I have £100 in here, and I'm like, people know that that's in your house now. Like,
yeah,
It's
I
the
oh,
would
reason why I
never.
feel like it works, like, psychologically, and we see it in retail as well. Like, when you are paying with a debit card, you are more likely to spend more money, but when you are physically handing over
I
and
feel the
counting cash and
opposite.
folding it over, just psychologically, that we have higher ticket averages when people do debit card spends versus cash because 'cause you're not
I
physically
For
watching them
know.
put
me,
it in the bank.
cash is like I never have cash, so for me, cash is like fake money. I'm like it's not
Yeah.
real. Like when I get cash
Same.
from something, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like I can spend this on whatever I
Done.
want.
Yeah. Not in the bank account,
Same.
doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's not in my account, so money isn't going out of my account. So I'm like, okay, I can just spend this. I think
This
as
is the
well, like
best.
my debit card isn't contactless because I feel like I would just be tap tap tap, not thinking about what I'm paying. So I always have to insert my card and put in my PIN number. And for me, I feel like that makes me feel like I'm being more mindful about what I'm spending because I have to like at least think about what I'm while I'm putting my pin in, I'm thinking about, my purchase that I'm making, think
Well,
about my
in the
life
grand
choices.
scheme, you do end up spending more, like, on average, using your debit card than paying in cash. I don't make the rules, that's just what the data says.
I do find the
So
easiest way that I save money is when I first started my job, I was an apprentice, so I was given like £500 a month, and like obviously now I'm on a proper like wage. It's a lot easier to kind of like, I just imagine I still have that small amount of money to last me a month, and everything else I think like it just kind of goes into savings or whatever else like it needs to go in, and then the last week of the month, depending on how much I've got left, is when I start to spend like maybe more frivolously
I
than
love that.
the rest of the month. Like all the throne gifts the other day.
That was so nice of you.
I was like, hey, I've got extra money. Let's spend it.
Isn't it fun to do that? That was like when I got you guys Christmas gifts. I was like, ooh, let's go.
It made me so happy that I was able to do it as well, yeah.
I felt the same. It was so nice.
so do you consciously, like, save for multiple things, or is it just, like, one big pool of savings and then you kinda pull out of it how you need to? I have one that I don't touch, like, that is the master savings, and it always sits at least this balance,
I hope it's in
and
a
then I
high
might have
yield
savings
savings
for others.
account for you.
It's not. It's not.
Oh,
We're in some
you
bullshit
should switch
savings
that.
interest nonsense. Yeah, yeah, I should. I also need to get a 401k. I was cracking up like watching the chat in the
Does your
podcast
job not
Discord.
offer?
No, we don't get
Seriously?
401ks in the cannabis industry. We're lucky to
I
get
don't
health
know.
insurance that we don't use. I use Bronas.
Uh,
Every company I've ever worked for in cannabis, if they had a 401k, they got rid of it within my first month there. Like,
Oh.
there are no long-term
that's
benefits like
crazy.
that.
I would look into
There's
IRAs then for you, not 401k,
yeah.
because usually 401k is only offered by your employer, I think. It's the only way to get one.
I need to get something for savings because I don't know much about Social Security, but
It's,
I feel like
yeah,
I know
not
enough that by the time
trustworthy.
we're old enough to collect it, that shit's not gonna exist.
Yeah, yeah. They
What am I
constantly
paying
pull
into?
money out of it.
What a pension is something that was like a benefit of the previous generation. I don't know anyone that has job longevity for the reason of getting a pension. That
No.
doesn't exist anymore. Like Verna's
Uh-uh.
talking about severance. They're not gonna give you severance.
Oh, people still give severance. A lot of places
I
still
have
give
never.
severance.
I've never
Mine does. My company gives severance.
I've
If you're
only been let
fired,
go from
though.
one job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only ever been let go from one job, and that was, selling, high-end furniture, and it was all commission. I was awful at it. I was
That's
so
hysterical.
bad at it.
Uh,
Sorry, I had to Google what severance was in the UK.
oh, like when you get fired, they give you some money. What did
Yeah,
you
I was
ask?
like, I couldn't remember what we call it in the UK. It's
Oh,
just redundancy pay.
oh, redundancy pay. What
Yeah.
was your question, Steph? How do we? What something about savings you had
So,
asked?
like, do you have, like, just a master pool for your savings account
Oh
and pull
yeah,
out of it as you need it, or do you save for individual things throughout the year? And then how do you, like, manage the savings pools of multiples?
I I just have we just have one savings account.
Just one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
we're
have
lucky if there's
one.
anything in there. At least since COVID.
Your time will come. Big things are coming.
This is
I am
true.
loving all the new
Patience.
changes. Obsessed
Thanks.
with the new changes.
Same.
I have quite a cushy savings, and I
That's nice.
yeah, well, yeah, that's the only way I could have gone to Arizona and on the
That's
cruise
true.
within the same like m- month or two of each other. But basically for my savings, I just have like a big pool, and this probably isn't the best money spending habit. But if I have some extra money that I see, I don't really save for things. I just kind of buy it when I have that money.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm the same. I
I
have a
have a
big
spending
saving.
problem.
I have a big savings pool, and then like if I need to pay for like my MOT or something, I just take money out of my savings and pay for it, and then just work on building it back up every month when like I get paid, and until the next year when I have to pay for my MOT again.
I have a tip for your spending problem. I
Oh,
saw
I
a
I
girl that made a Notion template and anytime she wanted to buy something, she'd put it in the template and then she would not buy it. And then she would wait like a little bit and go back and be like, do I still want this? But my rule of thumb is I only buy stuff if it's like generally, if it's like going to make my life easier in some way or like really help me out. Otherwise, it's like, I'll just like think about that for a year and ask for it for my birthday. It's like how I do.
I did.
I've been
I saw.
waiting for payday. I'm definitely a window shopper in like my real life. Like I will walk around a store for 2.5 hours, like a hobby store, and I will put something in my cart and I'll walk on it. And then if by 3 aisles later I look at that thing, I'm like, yeah, I could still use that. Then I keep it. But if not, I go back and put it back. And then that's been working. But now I've been waiting until payday. And then of course the thought ever looming of maybe one day I won't have a job has kind of been keeping me in line, which is a totally far-fetched, unrealistic, ridiculous notion in my brain. Just ignore that. It's just, if you don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow, why are you spending money? That's been working.
No, completely. When I wasn't sure if I was gonna have my job or not, I did not spend any extra money for that
Nothing.
entire week. I didn't spend any money at all.
Spending done. Want to buy a game?
Yeah.
Fuck that. You have games at home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was like, "No, I'll wait until I know that, like, I have my job."
No, it works. Like Vrona and I, we have like a $50 threshold between each other, which it changes all the time, but he doesn't spend nearly as bad as I do. But if it's something $50 or over, we check in with one another to make sure that it's a reasonable purchase. Um,
See,
but
me and
it's so
Trey
far
don't
so
even
good.
have to have that rule because that never happens for either of us. Uh, Sometimes if I'm like, okay, we need shampoo and this and toothpaste, and I'm like, I'll just like double check with him. Is this okay if we buy all this stuff? But it's always like essentials.
Yeah, sometimes I'll like peek over at his phone and he's on Amazon. What you buying? What you buying? He's like, don't worry about it. It's stuff for the house. I'm like, all right, I trust you. Comes back with the new mat for his desk. What the fuck is that? Why?
I like that that's for the house.
For the house. He wasn't wrong. It
I
was
mean,
for a part
yeah.
of the house.
I mean, his gaming room is not technically like a room, so it's,
No, exactly. Yeah, that man knows how to play the loopholes. He's really, really good at it. He's ruined friendships over it, playing those damned loopholes.
uh,
I always add my stuff if it's like on Amazon, I add it to my wish list so that like it's there so that when I have a bit of extra money, I can go to my wish list and like go, oh, I'll treat myself to a Funko Pop or whatever, or like because I've been having all this stuff with the dentist. Sometimes I'm like, hey, actually, I really deserve a treat for for like being an adult and doing the things. But I
I
did
love
see
that.
a TikTok the other day of someone saying, and it was for children, but I feel like we could easily adapt it for adults, where when they pick up a toy or something that they want in the shop, they like take a picture of it and then like they write it down, ready for them to ask like Santa at the end of the year. And I feel like you could easily do that, like with going, okay, I'll take a picture of this and I might ask for it for my birthday. And then when it gets to your birthday, you have a look at the list of things you want and you're like, I don't want that anymore. Why the hell did I put that on my list? What the fuck is that? Like, and
Oh,
then
that's great.
you've got things to ask for.
I love that. Like, add it to your throne, add it for a wish
Mhm.
list if you stream or like a goal on your stream. Like that's been another thing. No more fucking new streaming stuff. It's all going in a goal on stream. If it needs to be a staple, it'll get funded through the efforts of streaming.
That's what I do. I don't buy anything for streaming anymore, but I will say I invested kind of upfront so that I wouldn't have to spend any money later on.
I sit here too many hours a day to have not invested in my comfort sitting at this desk, but it did get a little bit excessive. Did I need the keycaps that spell out the 7 on my keyboard? No. No, I did not need that. Was it only $30 and 2 hours of my time to switch it out? Yup. Did I do
Does
it?
it look
Yup.
really cool? Also, yes.
Yup. Did
I
I
think I
need
have a
it? No.
problem, or
You
maybe
think you
not a
have a
problem,
problem?
but
What?
yeah, so
You just,
uh,
I think I have a problem.
I'm gonna
Same.
explain, but I'll go like I don't really buy a bunch of like small things, but I'll go like months and then I'll make like one like really big purchase.
Yeah, what did you buy recently for yourself?
Do what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Ooh.
to be
You love
fair
it?
though, I got a lot of money from my work, so I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Who cares? Do you love it? Is it
Yeah.
make your life easier? Are
Yeah.
you super happy every time you look at it? Yeah.
See, I have no problem spending money on tech that I know I'll use all the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I used my Christmas bonus to buy my Aura ring and that was like $300, but it
Mhm.
like gives me it's like so helpful for me, so it feels super worth it.
Oh my god, you guys have no idea how fucking happy I am when I gutted my craft room and like reorganized everything. I found my Fitbit. I was so pissed because I bought this thing brand new like 3 years ago, right before I moved to Arizona, and I thought I lost it in the move. And I was like, I'm not buying another one. I'm not doing it. It's somewhere in this house. And I have it.
Do you know what's funny? I feel like none of us, and correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, but I feel like some people that are like in their 20s and 30s will go out like every weekend and spend like 100 to $300 like on drinks. And like I do
Yes.
not go out. Like we are not like every like 3 months we'll go to like a brewery on a Friday and get like beer and it's like $60 for two of us. Like
It's
that's
so
our going out.
crazy. Like, we don't drink that much, and we like, when we stopped drinking like, not, like, stopped drinking like we're sober, but we stopped going out for drinks, and instead we opted for, like, taking an edible beforehand or toking beforehand, and I don't typically mix. We were surprised at how reasonable the bills were, and, like, last night, we went out with my husband's parents, and we all ended up having, like, a couple of drinks, I think it was, like, 7 total for the table of 4. And my husband had looked at the bill and I overheard him. He's like, "Damn, really?" And his dad was like, "Yeah, dude, we ordered like 7 drinks." He's like, "Holy shit." It's like, "Yeah, why bother? Just bring the tequila home. Get drunk at home. You could get a bottle for a fraction of that price and get just as
Yeah.
wasted."
It's pretty crazy how
I
expensive it
mean,
is to do
I
that.
don't. I don't really drink in general, so I don't have that. But I've stopped going out to eat as often, and I find like I've easily saved loads of money. I don't. The friends I used to go out with to eat a lot, like I'm not like friends with them anymore. And like yesterday, I went to my friend's house, and we went out to a supermarket and just bought a like a pizza you just put in the oven, and then we went back to her house and
That's so
we
fun.
just cooked it, and
Perfect.
we like bought a whole load of snacks as well. So like we had way too many snacks. I'm not gonna lie to you, and ice cream we didn't even get to, and it was so much cheaper than just getting a takeaway or going out to eat. And it was nice. We like had our Udis on. I had we both had blankets. We just super chill. We watched The Incredibles and Mulan, and it was like so much nicer than going out to eat and like having to get all dressed up. And it was like ugh, it was so much nicer, so much cheaper as well.
Much preferred. Plus,
I
That
you're like
think
sounds
you're
so
at home.
nice. I love
I
it.
think my habit of drinking at home carried over from college because like Reagan is a year younger than me. So like we were all of age, but he wasn't of age, so we all drank at the apartment instead so that we could all drink. And we never really went out in college, and I still don't really go out. I'll just drink at home.
I had like 1 year of going out in college, but it was before I was even 21, so didn't. I was drinking at frats and stuff.
I'd rather just get baked.
At this point, yeah, me too. It's so much nicer.
Too
And
expensive to be like feel like shit for 3 days.
yeah, as you get older, man, you drink 2 beers, you wake up the next day, you're like, ugh, I feel terrible.
Yeah, kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a big money suck. Can be a huge one. I don't know what I would tell someone if they were like, "How do I do this less?" I would just be like, "I don't know. Stop doing it
Set a
altogether.
budget at the beginning of the week
Only
and
bring
stick
cash
to
Well,
with
it.
you out to the bars, like say like, "All right, I got
Mhm.
a $50 bill and
Yeah.
that's all I'm taking with me tonight and when it's done, it's done."
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, as a woman, I'm sorry, but it is easier. If you're willing to talk to people, you can just have your drinks purchased for you. Like it's really not
Steph.
that hard. I'm sorry, but I have definitely gone into a bar with a couple of friends, totally broke, and just chatted it up with the guys at the bar. Doesn't even have to be guys. I've had women buy me drinks. It's just like
Yeah.
you you buy them one and you get the rest of them done.
That's hysterical.
I'm
I
only
love it.
facts over here. Cannabis a little bit harder. Cannabis, I got by my own weed.
Yeah, that's very true. Do
But I
any of you
mean, I don't
guys
know.
do any of you guys have a problem with impulse buying? Because I feel like that's always
Um,
something that's talked about with ADHD is that like just impulsivity in general, which often can present itself as impulse shopping. But I do not have the only time I impulse buy is if I truly feel like in my heart it is like something very special, and that doesn't happen very often, you know?
I've gotten a lot better about it. Like my spending problem, like my it's what is it? Retail therapy is basically like I love the fuzzy feeling I get when I get to have something like nice. Or like a new thing or like honestly getting a package and opening a box is the fucking
Okay, that is
serotonin. That's like
fun. It is really
half the
fun.
serotonin. So with impulse buying, I treat it the same way that I do, or I treat it the same way that I do for like the retail therapy. It's I put it in the cart and I kind of sit on it for a little bit, or I add it to like my throne list, or I'll set it up on a stream goal. And there's been more times than not that I've removed it from the stream goal after a couple of weeks because, like, one, it's not making any movement because I don't have time to invest in making that happen. And two, I don't want it anymore. I just get something different or just not get it at all, or I've moved on in my obsession. Like I had my gouache paint on my coffee stream goal for like 3 or 4 months. It was kind of a pricey purchase, but I eventually made it, but a couple times I had gone in to remove it. I mean, at the end of the day, like you can't take your money with you. So as long as you're paying all of your bills, spend your money how you want to spend it. Just
That's
be
my big
responsible.
philosophy too. It maybe is a little bit, might be a little bit more irresponsible than you in that sense, but I'm like, money comes, money goes, money flows to you, money leaves you. If you have a true like abundance mindset and you're not, you're not worried about not having money. Like, I don't even think about that, and there's been times when we've really struggled, but I'm like, "You know what? It's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out," and it always has been okay.
It's a very privileged mindset though, to be honest, because like
Oh,
I it
totally.
took me years to get to this point because I didn't have stable housing. I was
Yeah.
homeless for a good chunk of it. Like I didn't have a way to get to work. I didn't have a way to get clothes. I didn't know what I was eating that day. Or it's like, okay, well we have $5 to spend on money for the next 2 days. How can
Yep.
we make that stretch? Um but it's once you get to that mindset and you're taking care of all your basic necessities, like, enjoy the fucking money that you earned. You spend more
Yeah.
time at work than you do at home if you're working a 40-hour work week, so enjoy that shit.
I definitely impulse buy, but knowing that I have a good savings does help because I don't spend that much money. Like I'll
So you must
impulse
not do
buy
it
and
very
I'll buy
often.
things, but I don't do it like all the time. It's maybe like once a month that I'll like impulse buy something. And then there have been like a few times where Reagan and I have like we've had to really like be careful about
Yeah.
spending for like the last week of the month because I'm like, I have to have this amount of money in my account. Like, I have to.
Yep,
And then
that's how I
we'll
am
cut
too.
back spending for like a few weeks and then I'm good. But it's not like all the time.
I do wanna get to the next point, though, like, I've always kinda lived in like survival mode when it came to
Yeah.
budget. And now
Uh-huh.
that I'm finally at a point where it's very hard to get out of the mindset, like I'm either overspending or I'm hoarding, which there's not really a healthy, happy medium right now. I want to get into I want to learn more about how to like make my money grow and to make it work for me. Because if I have, the couple $1,000s over the months to put into savings, I feel like there is a whole world that it's just not tapped into. I don't know how to explain it. Like I just feel like I'm missing something. Like there's got to be a way that I can make some of this fucking money work for me versus just it sitting in a savings account. Like it's not a lot, It's a nice little nest egg. It should be better, but
A
it's
high
not because
yield
I'm a spender.
savings account is an easy way to do that.
But I mean, you're talking like what, 1.5%?
No, sometimes they're like up to like 3 or 4.
That's that's garbage. I'm sorry, that's garbage.
It's a little
For
bit better if you don't want to invest, but anyways, investing in the stock market right now is kind of it's like very volatile
Yeah.
at the moment. So,
That too. I wish I
like
got on the
that's a
crypto
long
train in the
game.
beginning.
Investing is a long game.
I
I
mean,
thought maybe penny stocks.
I wish I knew what to do with my savings. They just sit there and like half of them never get moved around and stuff and they're just sitting there collecting dust, like
Yeah, it feels like a waste.
There
yeah.
are like wealth management, like you can go meet with a financial advisor. It doesn't matter how much money you make, and they make money off of your investments. So if you find one that deals with individuals, you give them your $5,000 or whatever you have in savings, and they invest it for you. But I think it's always
I
good to
did
have a
go
little
talk
bit
to
of
one.
cash.
I did go talk to one. He said, "Come back when you can invest 25 grand." And
So
I was
find a
like,
smaller
"I
one.
don't have
Yeah,
that.
that's not the
I
right
don't know
fit for
where to
you
go.
then.
I gotta go find like a credit union." I think
Sometimes
that's gonna
banks
be the
have them.
move.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
sometimes you
getting
can do it
away
at
from
your
the
bank.
bank. Yeah, I went to my bank for that and they're like, "Yeah, you don't make enough money." And I was like, "I make a lot of money. What the fuck
We
are
have
you
a credit
talking about?"
union and I love it. They're fantastic.
It's just so funny, like, your idea of a lot of money versus, like, a bank's idea of a lot of money, and you're like, "Oh, shit. Okay, I am broke in comparison. My bad. Didn't mean to
I think it's
overstep my
funny
boundary."
when the SVP, whatever, the Silicon Valley Bank failed. It's like, oh no, because I definitely have more than $250,000 in the bank. Like millennials are like, cool, let the banks fail because all of the money that we have is insured by the government. Like
Yeah,
nobody has
it's
more than $250,000 in their bank account.
no. That's just hilarious. I'm like, "And this matters to a peon like me. Why?"
Yeah, not at all.
It's the companies that we invest with, though, or, like, the vendors that we use at our our company though. I've definitely gotten a couple of emails like, "Hey, we use this place as like a banking and now we can't, so just give us a couple of days to get our shit together." And it's like, "All right, that's cool."
Do you guys have
I know
retirement funds?
Rona
I
does.
do.
You do, Dana? How does it work?
So we like pay into
Is
a
it the
pension like a
government?
certain percentage, and then well, my company at least matches that because we do it private. Like I have a private pension through my work, and then when you're, I don't know what the age is now because it keeps going up, but when you get to whatever age the government has decided by the time you get to that age, then you have your like pension from the government as well, which I think is based on like what you've earned throughout your life, kind of thing. Like it's a kind of like an estimated one of that. You know, if we're all still alive by
Sounds amazing.
then.
It's like Social Security, but if it actually worked.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I've been paying into mine since I was 18 because I've been fortunate enough to be in a company that allows that, which is nice.
That is
Yeah, I don't know how
nice.
that's gonna work.
Blaze, does your
I
company
feel like
do
we do.
401k matching?
Yeah, they do. I'm currently not using it, but yeah, they definitely do.
It's so nice when they offer that. I've never had a 401k. I've never worked somewhere that offered one. I literally have zero retirement savings.
One day
Same.
I'll start using it, but until Reagan is out of school and until he gets a job, I can't. So,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like I maybe I'm still in the mindset, not maybe. I guess I am that I'm going to do more with my life than what I'm doing now, and my retirement can come from that. Like I
That's how
also
I
don't
feel.
see myself
I'm
getting
like,
to retire at 65.
we'll figure
That
it
seems so
out.
young.
I'm gonna be fine.
No.
It's everything's going to be okay.
That is just like in my life motto. I don't stress about things until the time comes, and if shit hits the
Just
fan, like I'll figure it out.
I'll just
No.
work until I die.
That
It's
stresses me
fine. You know,
out.
not a big deal. How
Dana's
bad could
like,
it be?
Dana's like, absolutely not. I've been putting
Cut me out. Give
401k
me
money
out
in
here.
since I could.
No, I really am like in general, like money really stresses me out because like growing up, like I wasn't kind of around the best like people with like budgeting and money wise and stuff, so like it's always kind of stressed me out, and I don't want to. I think my biggest like worry is turning out like those people. So like um I wanted to get pension as quickly as like as soon as I was possibly able to, and I always try and make sure I have enough savings, like as much as I can save possible. Like I always try and do. I recently got a credit card, which is like terrifying because I'm one of the people I have in my life has had a lot of credit card debt and like payday loans and stuff. So um, that stresses me out a lot as well. I don't have an overdraft, you know, just in case. Even though like apart from so a lot of you guys know that I've been going to the dentist a lot, and I'm going private because I don't know, I guess I'm paying them to be nice to me, like, you know. And I can't afford to pay that completely out of everything, so I've been using my credit card for that. I will be paying it off, and I will be being smart with that. I think I will be using Notion, I think, to track that, just so that I'm in my own mind, I know. But before that, I never buy anything that I don't have money for. So I don't need an overdraft because I don't need to
That's
borrow
impressive.
money.
A lot of people do not do that.
And it literally just stems from, I guess, money anxiety, um, which again is like it's almost like the opposite of being impulsive and doing all these things, but it's still not like good. It's not like a good thing. You shouldn't be like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's,
get me
I
that
get
money
that.
anxiety to save my money.
Like you're managing it really well, but it's coming with all this extra added
Yeah,
pressure and stress on top.
definitely.
And like I feel
Do you
like my what I do is good, but it's like a little bit delusional. I'm just lucky that it happens to work out for me. I'm like, we'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, you gotta do what's right for you, and stressing yourself out over something so long term probably isn't the best for your mental health.
No.
Dana, do you guys have like what the hell was I gonna ask? The hell was I gonna ask? What were we just
Oh
talking
no.
about?
Credit cards?
Credit
Dentist?
cards. Do you have a credit score?
I do, yeah.
Like UK has credit scores. Did they also introduce those in like the very late 80s?
Pass.
I'm gonna Google it.
Pass?
Credit scores. So I was not that long ago that I learned that credit scores were created at like the end of the 80s,
I
right
think I
around
knew
the
that.
time that I was born. So yeah, then they started like rating everything that you can do on this arbitrary fucking number based on how many bills you pay in the
Oh,
order that you
you
pay
want to
them in. And
know
I'm like, you do
something
what?
cool? If you're somebody that
Cooler.
misses your no, cool. If you're somebody that accidentally doesn't pay their credit card sometimes, like you just miss the date and then they charge you a late fee. Used to be me. I'm really good now. I have them all on my calendar and it bings me when I for like 3 days it will bing me. You need to pay this. But there's this app. It's called Cushion and it uses AI and you do have to pay for it and Steph's gonna hate it because you do have to connect your bank to it. But you sign in with like Amex and whoever like your credit card companies are with, and they literally get you your fees returned to you. Like they get
Oh,
you the fees, the late fees back. So
Oh,
if you're
wow.
that's
somebody that
awesome.
that forgets your payments a lot and you get a lot of credit card fees, look up Cushion because I think it's only like $5, like a one-time fee, and then they just get you your fees back. Really helpful if
Look
you're
I
at
very
those
have
privacy
forgetful.
settings
Yeah.
very carefully. Read that fucking tea.
I have literally every single payment that I could possibly have on auto pay. So even my
Oh,
credit
I
card
can't
is
do
auto
that.
pay, everything. Everything is
I
auto
manually
pay.
Absolutely
pay
not.
them. No, I
I
have
have
to
I
see it
overdrawn my bank
myself.
account. No,
I have
and then
to
it's
see
like
it
I
myself.
set up dude, I set up autopay with Comcast and they charge me 2 or 3 times in 1 month, like multiple
Yes,
times.
I
Like
always fear
Mm.
that.
I have so many horror stories doing autopay and especially working in banking and people like they don't pay attention to their shit. And then they're thousands of dollars in the negative and they're like, "Can you just return
What
the
the
fees?" I'm like,
heck?
"No, I fucking can't. What do you mean? Stop putting autopay on everything."
I
I
have
don't do
auto
auto pay
pay, but I do
anything.
know I have it on auto pay, but I do know in my head like when they should go out. So I check my account still
I love
That's
how
just to
they
funny.
make
said
sure
auto
there's no
pay
That's
and we
extra
like
all just
card.
car.
went, ugh.
Yeah, we're like, no auto pay. I need to
The
Sorry.
see it.
only things
I need
Yeah,
to
the only things on
be in
autopay are the
charge.
ones that give, like, a discount for being on autopay. Like, so Cox,
Oh,
for example, that one has to be on, like, autopay, but I release the payment, but I also get, like, a discount by doing that and doing their
Do
paperless billing,
you?
and then
Because
my car
I
payment.
don't do that and I have Cox.
It's a $7 a month total discount that we're talking
Hey,
about
that's
here.
still a lot though.
But
I need
yeah,
to
no,
set
fuck
that
them.
up.
I'm taking my $7. But they haven't Cox hasn't double charged me. Comcast definitely has. That was a nightmare. And then my car payment. That's the only other one on auto pay because that one comes directly it's paid on the same day
That's
as I get paid.
$84 a year.
Yeah.
That's a decent
$84 a year.
amount.
You could buy a new router with that.
Yeah, I've
oh,
never gotten charged twice, so knock on wood. But
yeah.
So,
it's been good
credit
so far.
reporting. Credit reporting in the UK started as long ago as 1803.
Oh.
When did the US get credit scores? 1989. Fuck this country. Shit.
No,
Did you
it's
know?
crazy.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if this is nationwide, but I know it wasn't until like this year or something like that that my rent actually counts towards my
Oh, yeah.
credit.
No, that was
That's
pretty recent.
bullshit.
Isn't that
Like,
crazy?
what?
You pay it every month
Medical
on
Yeah,
bills?
time.
you pay it
Yeah.
every month, but it wasn't counting. That's
What
crazy.
Do you
what
guys
I
Medical
check your
bills aren't
credits?
supposed to.
Do you
yeah,
Oh,
check
I
your
yeah.
check
credit score
every
often?
Not
I
often. I
don't.
get a notification from Credit Karma when my score changes, but I'll pop in like every couple months just to
yeah,
make
I
sure
have
there's no new
in
hits
the
on my
UK we have
credit.
something called Clear Score, which will check it.
Nice. Yeah, we
We
have
have 3 credit
freecreditscore.com. So
bureaus in the
once a year, you
US,
should pull
and
your
we
whole thing.
can pull one report from each of them every year. So you're supposed to do it every 4 months and then do that 3 times a year.
I
What
should check mine, but I haven't.
baffles me is the fact that like it's weird, like you have to like owe money to have a credit score, like you have to show that you can pay it back, whereas like so I had a really bad well, not really bad, but like I had like a low credit score because I never had a loan, I never had like anything, so I ended up getting oh, what is it, like a pay as you go monthly contract with a phone company, and that counted for some reason as a loan, and that gave me a bit more of a credit score, and now obviously the credit card hopefully will I don't know, bump it up hopefully. But it is like crazy to me, like you have to show that you can pay stuff back, which makes sense, but like if you're someone who always just pays that like with what money they have instead of borrowing, you're a bit like fucked with your credit score.
Ours is like that too. Like if you carry a balance on it, it actually improves your credit a little bit versus if you have no balance on it, it's like no bueno.
Oh
Which
my
is
Yeah, I
so
god.
leave a
weird.
balance on mine
It's so
for that
weird. But I
reason.
only in the UK, is it the same that you only need the credit card or your credit if you're gonna like loan a car or buy a house or something like that? Like, are there any other reasons why you'd need your credit score?
I think they look at your credit score if you're going for a credit card as well.
Oh
Like
yeah, to
they'll
get a
have a
credit
look.
card. Yeah.
Mortgage for sure. And then I'm not sure about cars because I just bought mine like with my savings.
Usually here, if you're going to get a loan for a car, you have to have like your credit score will affect your interest rate, especially on cars. They can make it
Yes.
either be like 0% or it could be like 19%.
Yeah, I imagine if you're leasing, they definitely check that kind of thing.
But yeah, so Blaze was like, I don't check my credit often, but if you're not looking to buy a car and you're not looking to buy a house like anytime soon, I don't think it matters that much what your credit
Yeah, that's
is.
why I haven't checked mine. It's one of those things where I should probably check it just so that I know, but I've
I
never
mean,
checked
at
it.
least check it on one of those ones so it tells you when it changes, so then you
It's
can at least
Yeah.
know
also
like
good
what's
just
going
to make
on.
sure your identity hasn't been stolen,
Yep.
like that nobody else has opened any loans like with your social
Yeah.
security. So like that's why I'll check mine too sometimes just to make sure that everything is on there is like actually me.
You know,
You
the
want peace
reason
of
why
mind.
the
You just
reason
lock it.
why my parents gave me the name Blaze is because my mom had identity theft so much that they
She
gave
have
me
a
a
common
super
name.
unique name because of that. Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Very common.
That's smart. I love that. I just lock it. Like I have to go into I don't remember which of the credit people's the vendors it is, but I have to go in and like type in a code and unlock my credit in order for them to run even a soft query against it. I just got so sick of the identity theft. I'm like, just lock it all down. Same thing when I do my taxes. I have to get like a very specific code every year to do my taxes so no one can like do it my taxes without that code.
The first year I did my taxes, they called me up and they asked me like so many different questions just to
Who
make
called
sure it was
you?
actually me.
Yeah, who called you?
I filed it through, I forget who I filed it
Oh, you
through,
like
but they
used a
called me and
person. Okay,
they
okay.
had to, well, it
I'm like,
wasn't a person, it was a website, or it
okay.
was one of those like common
I'm like, who's
tax
calling you?
things.
I have so many alarm bells going off in my head right now. They called me
It
and just
was
verified all of my information, mother's maiden name, name of my first pet, the usual questions. I gave
It
them
was
all of
no,
it.
it was legit. It was completely legit. It wasn't someone just scamming me.
Dude, I felt so bad working at the bank hearing the scam stories. It's like, "Oh, my grandson, said that he was kidnapped or he's in jail in Africa. I didn't even know he traveled." I'm like, "Ma'am, did you call your grandson?" "No, he's in jail in Africa." I'm like, "Ma'am, can you just call your grandson's like phone really quick?" And then like they pick up and you're like, "Oh, Sonny, you're not in jail in Africa." "No, grandma, that's a scam." Jesus.
Yeah, we had one recently where someone would message you and like be like, "Hey mom, my phone's broken. Can you send me some money?" But like it happened to me, and I was like, I'm unless Cassie can start typing, I'm not your mum, so yeah, I had to like tell my granny like, no, it's not like my uncle. He's not broken his phone. I had the same
Oh
scam happen to me. It's
no.
okay. Because she just called him and was like, are you okay? Have you lost your phone? He was like, no, it's a scam. Don't.
Have you guys ever gotten bills or like voting forms to your pets in your house?
No, that's
I have.
hysterical.
Butterfinger
How
has
did they
100%
find
gotten mail. I
how did
have
they find
no
her
idea.
name?
I have no idea. There was one of those, it was like Spokio.com where it listed like Butterfinger with like my last name as a resident of the home. And I'm like, how did you get that information?
That's so weird.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Do you have like social media accounts for Butters?
I do. But
Or
it's
maybe
under
if you got like
Butfinger.
pet insurance or something at some
Yes. Oh
point,
my God.
that might be like
So
public domain.
I thought maybe it came from that because I found out for like the first 7 years of her life when I registered her chip, they put her in the system as Buttfinger. They missed the ER. So for like 7 years in a national
Buttfinger.
pet database, it was Buttfinger. And I found out because like when I called to re-up like the subscription for her chip, they were like, why on earth would you name your cat that? I hope that's not offensive. I'm like, Butterfinger? I'm like, I don't know. She was the size of a Butterfinger when I got her and she's orange. Like, it's not that weird of a name. She's like, oh, it says Buttfinger. And I was like, can you maybe change that for me, please?
I would have asked the same. That's so funny. Oh my
I must have
Oh
pissed
gosh.
someone
my
off when I got her
gosh,
chip.
that's so funny.
Oh my god. So people have just been
Uh,
thinking that you named her Buttfinger.
Buttfinger.
Yep.
That's
Just a
great.
normal cat name.
Yeah.
How did you guys fake it this last 2 weeks?
I'm getting into my busy season. So if I'm coming off extra chipper, I'm extra stressed.
It works backwards for you?
Yes, because I don't wanna be an asshole to everybody. It's not their fault that I have to fucking live 420 like 3 different times during the year.
I haven't really faked it too much the past 2 weeks. Like work has been pretty good, not too much going on, and then I was stressed about the charity stream, but that's done with now, so I'm
Yay.
good.
That was
That was
so good
amazing.
too.
That was amazing.
Oh
Wild.
my god, so good.
What about you, Dana?
I feel like this whole month I've been faking it. I've been like so ill this month, and so like I've just kind of been just faking that I'm okay just so I can get stuff done and I can go into work. Like this whole week I've been ill. And I've had to just go to work anyway because like I can't work from home easily, and I don't really want to have a whole load of like sick days. And plus, it's year end, so we've been doing all our stock checks and stuff. Because I work in the warehouse, so I've been having to help count and stuff. So it's really like the worst time to be ill. So I was like, never mind, I'm not ill. I have to do this. And also with all the fillings, I had like 4 fillings on Saturday last week.
Four is so
And
many at once.
yeah, well
They
they
were
were
just
like,
me.
yeah, they're like, oh, we had you done for 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, that's what they said for three. And they were like, oh yeah, it's just gonna take like 30 minutes, or you can have like four done and it will take like under an hour. And I was like, well, I plan to be here for 2 hours, so yeah, just do
Get it
four
over
then,
with.
fine.
Yeah,
Just like,
get it over with.
yeah.
Honestly, I do the same thing. I'd rather go to the dentist once for 2 hours than to have to go to the dentist 4 times for 30
Oh
minutes
my
each.
god, yeah. Oh, that's like
Exactly.
the worst nightmare. You're gonna make me
Yeah.
come back? I already like did a lot of work to get here and
Yeah.
I gotta do that again? No, thank you.
I wanna see you twice, max a year. That's it.
Yeah.
For
I'm
me, I'm
hoping
like,
after
I'll
this
just
year.
floss and then hope I don't have to go to the dentist
Yeah.
anymore.
I think after this year, it would be nice to see my dentist just 2 times a year, and that be it, because I have seen them way too much already. And I've also booked in for more as well, which was kind of good because I was getting stressed about like making sure I'd booked in and I wanted to get it done before I start uni again in September, because my next procedure I've got scheduled is the same day as my end of module assignment is put in. So I normally put it in the day before anyway. So that means everything's finished with uni, and then I can just worry about focusing on that. And hopefully once all that's done, it can be finished in like the summer, which would be nice.
Yeah, that does sound nice. I feel
So
like
yeah,
I'm
facing my fear.
similar to Blaze in that I haven't had to fake it recently. Things have been going pretty well, which has been really nice. So, yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening in. We hope you found some value. Join us on Discord to access resources mentioned in each episode and find your people. Follow us on social media and tune into our next episode where we are going to be talking about navigating all different kinds of loss. Bye.
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 Bye.